Meeting for the Borough of Raritan for December 15th, 2014 is called to order. This meeting was called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Notices of this meeting were sent to the Courier News and the Star Ledger on January 6th, 2015. In addition, copies of notices were posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, on the Raritan Borough website, and filed in the office of the Borough Clerk. Notices on the bulletin board have remained continuously posted. Proper notice having been given, the Borough Clerk is directed to include this statement in the minutes of this meeting. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cara?
Here.
Councilman Fooey?
Here.
Councilwoman Gara?
Here.
Councilman Giraldi?
Here.
Council President LaBelle?
Here.
Councilman Sebelia?
Here.
Please stand for the flag salute and invocation led by Councilman Fooey.
O God, enlighten our wills to act in good judgment so that we know what we do and what we speak will be beneficial to our citizens. Grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Watch over and protect our fellow Americans that may be in harm's way overseas. Bless us one and all. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first order of business this evening is Resolution 2015-12-122, the executive session. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-7, commonly known as the Sunshine Law, requires that Borough Council meetings be open to the public except for the discussion of certain subjects. And whereas the Sunshine Law requires that a closed session be authorized by resolution. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Raritan, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, that the following portion of this meeting shall be closed to the public, and the meeting shall be resumed at the end of the closed session. Be it further resolved that the subjects to be discussed and the time of public release of the minutes of the closed session are indicated below. Subject matter is police personnel and co-litigation update. Time, when, and the circumstances under which the subject matter can be disclosed is upon the authorization of the borough attorney. Is there someone that would like to move this resolution? So moved. Motion made by the Council President, second by Mrs. Garrett. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cara?
Yes.
Councilman Fooey?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara?
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi?
Yes.
Council President LaBelle?
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia?
Yes.
Take care of all the lovely young ladies. We are going to be swearing in a brand new police officer. So we're going to do that first, and then we're going to do the presentation. Okay? Yeah, I got it. This is Resolution 2015-12-123. Each resolution is numbered, and that's how we keep track of what they are. Whereas a vacancy exists in the Raritan Police Department, and whereas the Borough of Raritan wishes to employ a full-time patrolman, in the police department, and whereas the Chief of Police recommends that Robert Sinopoli, did I get it right? Okay. Be appointed to the position of probationary patrol officer. Now therefore be it resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Raritan, County of Somerset, and State of New Jersey that Robert Sinopoli is appointed to the position of probationary patrol officer at an annual base salary of $36,687 effective December 16, 2015, and contingent upon passing all requirements. Do I have someone that would like to move this resolution?
So moved.
Motion made by Mrs. Garrett, second by the Council President. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cara?
Yes.
Councilman Fooey?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara?
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi?
Yes.
Council President LaBelle?
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia?
Yes.
Excellent. Who's gonna bring this up, please? All right, I would say this wrong. Raise your right hand, left hand on the Bible. Okay. All right. Repeat after me, please. I, Robert Sinopoli,
I, Robert Sinopoli,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly
I
swear
do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of patrolman,
all the duties of patrolman,
Borough of Raritan,
Borough of Raritan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. No cheer for him?
Yes, we are proud of you. Oh, we are proud of you. Yes, we are proud of you.
Although I must tell you that I am a golden falcon. I will always be a golden falcon. And I wasn't a cheerleader when I was in high school. I was, where's Maddie? I was a Botswaner. Right, Maddie? The days when we had majorettes with marching band. But I will always be a golden falcon. Well, we're very happy and honored to have all of you here with us tonight. We're going to try to do this as the best ways we possibly can. We're going to start with the junior Pee Wee cheerleaders. Now, when I read this, I thought I was going to see little tiny people. What is a junior Pee Wee cheerleader? Who can? I don't. Who can tell me? What's a junior Pee Wee cheerleader? How old do you have to be? And what grades are you in? Fourth grade. Okay, fourth grade to sixth grade. And then the midget cheerleaders are seventh and eighth grade. Okay, makes sense. So we have a certificate of recognition for the captains, not the captains of the mothers, the advisors. Coaches, yes, thank you. Great place. For junior Pee-wees that over here. Ron's rating. When I read your name, ladies, I'd like you to come up and stand here. We have a certificate for each one of you. Okay? And we're going to try to get you all on camera because this is being broadcast on YouTube. So we're going to Ella Fine. Annabelle Frank. Ashley Paul. Elizabeth Johnston. Grace Larson. Anna Madsen. Mia Marmolejo. Ellen Nussman. Victoria Pagnetti. Shelby Puata. Haley Paperman. Grace Patty. Jessica Pierre Present. Brittany Riviero. Eva Rivero. Ava Sabella. Taylor. Alan Wolf. These are the Bridgewater Raritan Pop Warner Midget Cheerleading Squad. These girls took first place. These girls took second place in the national championship. Okay. Kayla Barone. Antoinette, your courage. Mariela Castro. Madison Chandler. Dylan Chester. Brooke Churchello. Dominique Clark. These are the midget cheerleaders. Claudia Cordero Zeldon. Fayella. Destiny Garcia. Jeremiah Gonzalez. Cheerleader, a Yale cheerleader.
We love it.
Alexis Grosso. Taylor Jordan. Allison Levici. Emily Madsen. Norris Matheson. Jordan McKay. Definitely getting a complex. Samantha Mena. Reagan Mooney. Ashley Natali. Serena Papavero. Sarah Piper. Nicole Przbilski. Rosina Retch. Kelly Robbins. Christina Tangent. Julia Verano. Me neither. Larissa Burnett. Jameson Blackhouse. Danielle Waddington. Okay, girls, give us a cheer.
Encore, do it again.
Encore, do it again.
Sorry, I want to hear.
Panthers, how do you feel? We feel good! So good! Awesome! Double it! Triple it! No sweat! Fantastic! Super! You know we show Panthers out! Grr! I would have brought it.
How many other teams did you compete against?
We had 6 total in the midget division. Yep, 5.
Do you want to do pictures or?
Patricia, you gave pictures of both squads? Sorry.
Click the
Cheerleaders, everybody looking this way. On three, everybody saying cheerleader. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Cheerleader. 1, 2, 3. Smile, come on, don't move. Keep smiling for moms and dads and moms and grandpas over here. Keep looking this way. 1, 2, 3, cheerleader. 1, 2, 3.
Girls, come forward.
1, 2, 3. Cheerleader.
Shelby, look over.
I just want to let everybody know that the video of this is up there tonight. This will be live. This will be live.
Live on some
I can hear you, yeah. Good job, guys. Thank you.
5-minute time limit per speaker. Please direct all questions to the mayor. Impertinent speeches or personal remarks are inappropriate. And if you are not following courtesy, or who becomes boisterous, you will have to if you are reading from a prepared statement, please provide a copy or email a copy to the clerk's office. Anyone who wishes to be heard during this first portion of public comment. I see no one will close the first portion of public comment. We have 3 sets of minutes to approve this evening. The first one is the agenda and workshop meeting minutes for November the 10th, 2015. Motion made by the council president, second by Mrs. Guerra. Any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Councilman Kara?
Yes.
Councilman Bowie?
Yes.
Councilwoman Guerra?
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi?
Yes.
Council President LaBelle?
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia?
Yes.
The next set of minutes is November the 24th, executive session. Do I have somebody that would like to move that? Motion made by Mrs. Kara, second by Mrs. Guerra. Any additions or corrections? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Kara?
Yes.
Councilman Bowie?
Yes.
Councilwoman Guerra?
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi?
Yes.
Council President LaBelle?
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia?
Abstain.
And the next set of minutes is the November 24th, 2015 regular meeting. Motion made by Mrs. Guerra, second by the council president. Any additions or corrections? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Kara?
Yes.
Councilman Bowie?
Yes.
Councilwoman Guerra?
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi?
Yes.
Council President LaBelle?
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia?
Abstain.
All right, moving on, our work session portion of the meeting, engineers report. Shelley, nice to have you with us. Thank you.
First thing on Stan's report is Orlando Drive Phase 3. We are continuing to work with Green Acres to resolve the diversion that's required due to the approach of Green Acres Drive. Green Acres has given Stan a response concerning the minutes of the scoping hearing. With that response, we are coordinating our response back based on the chief for some time ago. So we are working through that process. Stan would like to present the design drawings for Phase 3, which goes to the council at the council meeting. Stonebridge at Raritan, we are working with developers to finalize the punch list and the required documentation that's required to recommend the release of the performance bond. One outstanding item that's very important is the easement from New Jersey Transit. That easement is required in order to complete that pedestrian access route from the development, Tillman Street, 1st Avenue, 3rd Street, 2nd Avenue into the parking lot. We are working with New Jersey Transit this time with the developer to make sure that easement comes in place. If that easement is not in place, we will work on securing a separate bond to make sure that that pedestrian access does happen. Raritan Library, the electrical engineer has been tirelessly trying to get in touch with PSE&G. We've left voicemails, we've left emails, and I just was working with Dan earlier today to try to get a hold of the liaison. The electrical engineer, part of his concern is that his power requirements in order to design the costs. He has his preference for what he wants to see down at the library, so he's not going to finalize his design until he gets permission from PSE&G. And obviously we want to present council if PSE&G comes to us and say that there's a cost somewhere for the power supply. So we are working with the library and keeping them informed on our progress. And the firehouse generator, shop drawings have been submitted and approved, and the generator has been ordered. So, yes, yeah, absolutely. So if everything's good and the weather stays good, we should be able to get out there for that concrete pad and be ready to go when the generator's delivered. So that's good. So that's everything I have.
Thank you. Any questions for Shelley? Thank you. The next item is the borough calendar. Jim, that's yours.
Yes, I just want to clarify what to expect. I mean, Councilman Giraldi suggested to me that going to be doing a reevaluation of it in January. It's only what I proposed, I just supported a clear idea of where we go from here.
Well, I just thought we'd kick some ideas around, instead of a 12-month, maybe an 18-month calendar. And I know Denise said that she was looking into some things that would expedite it and make it easier for everybody as far as the calendar. So
Can we wait
it
till
was just a
January to
topic
talk
of
about that?
conversation, you know.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put on the agenda for the first meeting in January.
We got nothing to do.
All right, the next thing are the solicitor's payments.
Yes, Mayor, Council, in your packet, you have applications for solicitor permits from 3 individuals. Their background checks have all been cleared by the chief of police. I just need approval to issue the license.
So moved. Vote.
You can have a vote. Motion by Council President.
Second.
Councilwoman Karen.
Yes.
Councilman Fooey.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara.
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi.
Yes.
Council President LaBelle.
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia.
Yes.
All right, the last item on the work session is the 2016 reorganization date. Dan, that's yours, right?
I just, we're finalizing the resolutions, et cetera. We want to cement the date. Is January 3rd, that's the date
January
that
3rd.
was tossed around, but is that?
That's the date.
12?
12 noon.
Okay.
January 3rd, 12th, we have consensus of council on that, correct? Everyone's in agreement?
Aye.
No objections?
All right, we have,
Wait, Mayor, I also need to make another motion to pay the bill to
Pizza Brothers.
Pizza Brothers in the amount of $62 for the police for Friday evening.
okay. Somebody get paid right away.
Yes, that needs to be done immediately. Making that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Consensus, maybe, any objections?
Consensus?
No.
Thank
Any
you.
objections to paying them immediately?
Thank you.
All right, moving right along, we have a number of resolutions this evening. The first one is Resolution 2015-12-124, the resolution appointing a risk management consultant.
This is just for clarification, it's not something new. It sounds like we're getting a consultant to do. We're with state, we've been with statewide for many years, and we've appointed John Moore of Willis Insurance as the local risk management consultant. It's required as part of our being in a joint insurance plan.
Is there someone that would like to move that? So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Gara?
Yes.
Councilman Fooey?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara?
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi?
Yes.
Council President LaBelle?
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia?
Aye.
The next resolution is 2015-12-125, a resolution supporting a State House Commission pre-application to NJDEP Green Acres Program for diversion of Block 114, Lot 1, and Block 115, Lot 1 in the Borough of Raritan, Somerset County, New Jersey.
So moved.
Motion made by the Council President,
Second.
second by Mr. Fooey. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cara?
Yes.
Councilman Fooey?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara?
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi?
Yes.
Council President LaBelle?
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia?
Aye.
The next resolution is 2015-12-126, a resolution authorizing the Borough of Raritan to enter into a recycling agreement with the County of Somerset Board of Chosen Freeholders for 2016 residential recycling services.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Gara, second by Mr. Sebelia. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cara?
Yes.
Councilman Fooey?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara?
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi?
Yes.
Council President LaBelle?
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia?
Aye.
Next is Resolution 2015-12-127, a resolution of the Borough of Raritan, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, authorizing the execution of subordination agreement for 32 Bluebird Way in the Borough of Raritan.
Make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Cara,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Gara. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cara?
Yes.
Councilman Fooey?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara?
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi?
Yes.
Council President LaBelle?
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia?
Aye.
The next resolution is
We're gonna get everybody on the council.
2015-12-128. I thought I was hearing stereo. Award of contract for the concrete repair, ramp repair, and replacement of the railing system at the Raritan Public Library at last.
So moved.
Motion made by the Council President,
Second.
second by Mrs. Gara. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Kara,
Yes.
Councilman Fooey,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara,
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi,
Yes.
Council President LaBelle,
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia.
Aye.
The next resolution is 2015-12-129, Chapter 159, Fiscal Year 2015 Quicket Ticket Grant Program.
Make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Gara, second by Mrs. Kara. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Kara,
Yes.
Councilman Fooey,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara,
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi,
Yes.
Council President LaBelle,
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia.
Aye.
The next resolution is 2015-12-130, Chapter 159, Fiscal Year 2015 Distracted Driving Grant.
Make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Gara, second by Mrs. Kara.
Councilwoman Kara,
Yes.
Councilman Fooey,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara,
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi,
Yes.
Council President LaBelle,
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia.
Aye.
The next resolution is 2015-12-131, Taxi Cab Vehicle Taxi Cab Driver License for P&W Taxi Services LLC. Motion made by the Council President, second by Mrs. Gara. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Kara,
Yes.
Councilman Fooey,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara,
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi,
Yes.
Council President LaBelle,
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia.
Aye.
And the last resolution is 2015-12-132, renewal of the 2013, 14, 2014, 15, 2015, 16 plenary retail consumption licenses for Someplace Else Incorporated.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
made by the Council President, second by Mr. Sebelia. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Kara,
Yes.
Councilman Fooey,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara,
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi,
Yes.
Council President LaBelle,
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia.
Aye.
And the next item we have is the approval of the bills list, and be it resolved that claims in the amount of $1,832,273.39 having been listed on the bill list for the period November 23, 2015 through December 11, 2015, and recorded in the files of the Borough Hall are hereby approved to be paid.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Kara,
Second.
second by Mrs. Gara. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Kara,
Yes.
Councilman Fooey,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara,
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi,
Yes.
Council President LaBelle,
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia.
Aye.
And we have two purchase orders this evening. Both of them are for the fire department. The first one is to emergency equipment sales for repair to tower ladder 52 in the amount of $5,819.66, and a certificate of funds is attached.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Kara, second by Mr. Sebelia. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Kara,
Yes.
Councilman Fooey,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara,
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi,
Yes.
Council President LaBelle,
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia.
Aye.
And the next purchase order is also for the fire department to examine attics in the amount of $1,760.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Karas, and the certificate of funds is attached. Motion made by Mrs. Karas, second by Mrs. Gara. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Kara,
Yes.
Councilman Fooey,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gara,
Yes.
Councilman Giraldi,
Yes.
Council President LaBelle,
Aye.
Councilman Sebelia.
Aye.
All right, committee and liaison reports. Council President, we'll start with you.
Okay, DPW summary, they've done all the general work that they always do, plus they put up Santa's house this year for us, and other various things for recreation at Christmas time. Garbage, we had 206.3 tons of non-bulk for the month of November, 34.33 tons of bulk also for November. It's non-bulk, or that was bulk. Year total, 2,144 tons of non-bulk, 302 tons of bulk. A lot of garbage. I'd like to thank everybody in Public Works. I've been working with them for 6 years, and anytime I've asked them for anything, they've always come through above and beyond the duty, and a special thanks from Recreation to Public Works. Every time I go down there, they want to me to express all of them thanks for the summer that you guys provided for them. It was a great summer with recreation at the parks and everything in the pools. Recreation, as we know, Santa came to Raritan last week and had a great event, as usual. And just a few of the accomplishments for recreation for the year 2015. We cut down some trees at Freeland-Heisen Park, installed new fence over there where we took the trees out, enlarging the sun area at the Freeland-Heisen Park. They hired 10 lifeguards, all certified in low water rescue. The pools were open this year from till 7 p.m. and they were always open on time and no days were lost this season. They provided theme weeks this year, Christmas in July, Pirate Day, Fireman Day. They also had a lifeguard appreciation week. They painted all the clubhouses. Again, this is with Recreation's help at Basilone and Washington School. They cut down 3 trees at Basilone Park, allowing for more sunlight. Closed Cardinal Woods Park due to vandalism and maintenance issues and low attendance. They eliminated the arts and crafts position and did more hands-on things with the lifeguards, and it actually turned out to work out very well, the crafts and programs that they did, the way they ran them this year. And they brought back the opening day baseball walk from Borough Hall to Freeland-Heisen Park, and they're working on a shade shelter for Freeland-Heisen Park, 15 by 38 foot shade enclosure down there that would make it more comfortable for the parents while they're there watching their children. Ongoing projects are, as always, baseball and softball, opening day ceremonies, Easter egg hunt, Halloween parade, Santa Comes to Raritan, an annual bike race, the upkeep of the Raritan Dog Park, again with DPW's help. Worked with Empower Family Center for the outdoor movie with Bob. We lit up again this year the Nunez Street Bridge, we didn't do the Anderson Street Firehouse, the Raritan Street, the Raritan train station, and Borough Hall Christmas tree. Winter fall programs this year are indoor soccer, cheerleading, youth basketball, teenage basketball, Zumba, flag football, and they ordered and installed memorial field signs for all baseball fields. So if anybody has been asking where the names of the field signs are, they've all been redone and they're going to be being put back up in the spring. Pop Warner seating of the field at Washington School, banners and team sports. They've increased the banners and sponsors at the fields. Bob and Al painted the recreation office, ordered a new rug and tile for the office, rebuilt the Santa house light and interior, designed and ordered new logo signs for the rec office and pools, and magnets and red for the residents. So as you can see, recreation is, as usual, up and running and doing quite a job over there, and we need to recognize that and thank them for that. Last week we had a meet and greet. The Economic Development Committee had a meet and greet over at Nick's Pub on Somerset Street, and attendance was okay, but out of the meeting we did get a possibility of 2 more members for the EDC board, which would be very nice. And some of the topics that were discussed was looking into doing a borough business directory, which we put out, and if we can get people to shop right here in Raritan before going elsewhere, this business directory would let people know what we have. And also there were some discussions on parking on Somerset Street. And lastly, I think everybody here knows that this is my last meeting, and I just wanted to take a minute to thank the residents of Raritan. They've always been supportive, and I hope that I did everything that they ever asked me to. I tried to, but it was an honor and a privilege to serve the residents of Raritan. The people here in the administration building, Dan, Maggie, and everybody else, I've tried to personally thank everybody, but I'd like to take this moment to thank everybody for all your support. Dan, we had some great conversations. I'm going to miss them, but it was very nice. The police department, Chief, I couldn't be prouder of your department and the leadership that you're providing. In my 6 years, you're the best chief we've ever had, and we need you to stick around for a while. And let the guys know that I'm very proud of them and honored to have worked with them. DPW, as I've already said, I'm very proud of them too, and fantastic group of guys. I can't say enough about them. Anything you want, they go above and beyond to do that. The Raritan Fire Department is, here's the chief. The unsung heroes are always quietly in the background. You guys do a fantastic job all hours, all the time. And I've seen some of the work you do. The United Die Fire, 48 hours down there, and it's incredible. And they do it just for the love of the town and the love of being firemen. And thank you very much for that. All our professional services, lawyers, engineers, auditors, everything like that, thank you. They've been fantastic for the last 6 years. Mayor Liptak, it's been an honor to serve with you.
Thank you.
I thank you and commend you on all your years of service to Raritan. It's been an honor. And last and mostly, Stephanie Garrett, my running mate. Anything that I've done and had credit given to me for, I can't say that it was me really did it by myself. Stephanie was always there and helped me and got me going and kept me going to do things. Stephanie, thank you. I appreciate it very much. So thank you, Raritan. It's been a enjoyable and a memorable and a worthwhile 6 years. I'll be around. I'll see y'all.
Under Board of Health, at the last meeting, the revised Board of Health fees were presented for introduction. Final adoption is scheduled for the January 13th Board of Health meeting. There will be a rabies clinic, which is scheduled for Saturday, January 16th, from 10 to 12 at the North Thompson Street Firehouse. It looks like they will be free this year, hopefully. Last year we had to pay for a portion of the vaccine. The Board of Health is looking into whether or not to continue with the flu clinics because of the declining numbers and the cost of the visiting nurse. The board is looking into the alternatives such as joint clinics, drive-in clinics, or not having it at all. And this is mainly because of the competing with the CVS's and the Walgreens pharmacies. The following fees were collected for the month of November 2015. There were 3 marriage licenses, 19 marriage certified copies, and 173 death certified copies for a total of $897. And under food, the food licenses and food handlers, we collected $368. And under fire, during the month of November, the fire department responded to 14 calls, including 2 structure fires, 1 on Bones Lane and 1 on Somerset Street. There was one new applicant for membership, and an interview has been scheduled for next week. Year to date, there's been 261 calls. Last Sunday, the fire department did something they had not done in over 20 years. The members brought Santa down every street in the borough and handed out candy canes. The residents seemed to enjoy this thoroughly, as did the members. Plans have already begun for next year. There were 1,200 candy canes were donated for this event by Wegmans Grocery Store. And the fire department has switched to Pierce Manufacturing to purchase the new fire truck. They have received a revised spec and are waiting for the engineer to sign off the spec from the factory and the design team to create a rendering of the engine. It will be a state contract, so there will be no bid process. And under the Raritan Borough Municipal Court for November, they collected $22,045, $9,867.44 went to the borough. And lastly, I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and hopefully it's safe, and that's all I have.
I have no general reports this month, other than wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And tonight is also my last night. It has been a sincere honor to serve my community. I would sincerely thank let me start over here. I'm a little emotional from Greg here. I sincerely thank you for all the trust and support you have given me over the last 6 years. We have dealt with so many challenges, from HAP laws implemented from Trenton, failed school budgets, hurricanes, unprecedented snowstorms, major power outages, fires, flooding, and yet we have always pulled together Raritan strong. Looking back, I'm extremely proud that I have fulfilled the promises I've made to the residents of this community. In 2010, we promised to amend the housing ordinance, which ordinance was fulfilled in November 2010. We promised to refurbish and revitalize a dog park, which was open for business in April 2011. Over the last 6 years, I am very proud of the work that we've accomplished toward the riverfront corridor. We knew we had an area that was potentially a diamond in the rough to this community. We all had a vision that this area could soon be revitalized. To accomplish this vision, it was not going to be a 6-month venture. It was going to be a long-term commitment that required many hours of meetings, planning, discussions, cutting through the proverbial red tape. We had many meetings with our planning board, environmental commission, and the county as well. We also knew along the way that we would meet a host of criticism, brick walls, and naysayers that would refer to our genuine efforts as pie in the sky. We knew the first thing we needed to do was to clean up the canal park, and thanks to the efforts of Councilman LaBelle and the hard work of our Public Works Department, the entire park was cleared up and open for everyone to enjoy this. This was step one in drawing the attention to the area. In 2012, we set our sights on a new community event with the Economic Development Committee and held our first Riverfest event to help draw attention to this area on a much larger scale. With the help of the Steeplechase Cancer Center, former Councilman Donald Tozzi, the Raritan Volunteer Fire Department, EDC members, and countless volunteers, the first Raritan Riverfest and Rubber Duck Race was formed. This venture alone was a huge commitment in time and effort between coordinating the event, gathering vendors, and numerous hours spent selling the famous rubber duck tickets. Our first year, the event was a huge hit, drawing close to 6,000 people to our community. Following that event, Councilman LaBelle and I hosted the Raritan Borough Riverfront Summit in the Coach Barn at Duke Farms. We had not known it at the time, but an investor that attended that summit realized the vision of our beautiful riverfront had to offer, and not only purchased the properties on Orlando Drive, but has also received approval from the Land Use Board in Somerset County, and is now in the process of moving forward with the transformation we envisioned. It is my hopes upon retirement from council that the remaining council, as well as the council-elect and mayor-elect, not only study the framework that has already been laid out for them, but study actively pursue the borough's master plan that we have spent thousands of dollars and countless hours working on to move this community forward. I leave this council meeting tonight with my head held high, no regrets and satisfaction that no regrets and satisfaction that not only have I talked the talk, I actually walked the walk. It was very hard work to be an accountable representative for this community than I have ever managed. The time away from my family was very hard. However, I made promises. That I was going to keep to this community, and I enjoyed fulfilling them. It was difficult, but I refused to allow the workload and criticism to stop me. 6 years ago, I asked you to join me as I journey through Raritan. Well, tonight, Mayor Liptak, Council, Chief McCormick, professionals and residents, I thank you for all being part of my journey. Dan, Maggie, all of you, thank you. I truly enjoyed serving this town. Thank you very much.
Mayor, there's no more Basilone meetings this year, and historic meets tomorrow, so I don't have anything to report.
Mayor, the Environmental Commission did not meet this month. About the schools, there's no word on new superintendent yet. They're scheduled to have second interviews this week. And the schedule is to have a new superintendent in place on January 5th. I was kind of disappointed and sad that the high school football team didn't win the finals, but they have a lot to be proud about. I mean, if I had a hat, I would tip it off to Scott Ray. And he's done a tremendous job. The high school team this year went further than any other Bridgewater high school football team ever. And like I said, they have a lot to be proud of. This is new for me, having to say goodbye to 3 members of this governing body. In the past, I've said goodbye to 1 person at a time, but not 3. So I will address my comments more on that I've enjoyed working with you. I've known you to go beyond the minimum that's required of an elected official. There are two kinds of elected officials, those that just put in the time and those that go beyond. And all three of you have gone beyond. You get to do things that need to be done and things that maybe no one else wanted to do, and you did it. I have to thank you for your service. I've often said that whether you like a person, don't like a person, you disagree with them, you agree with them, whether it's a personal thing or parties, doesn't matter. If you have to respect that they put in a number of years. Stephanie Garrett's put in 6 years, Greg LaBelle's put in 6 years, Mayor Liptak, 9 years as mayor, and how many years as councilman? 12 years. So you have to respect that and give them credit for putting in that many years of service. And it's not just service on the council, as you well know, it takes time to get elected to these positions too. And it requires a lot of sacrifice and time. So I thank you for your service, for the many years of service, and you deserve your credit for it. Thank you. So Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Litigation, there's nothing at Regional Center, doesn't need this money back in January. Have a good holiday.
Over the past 9 years, I've attended roughly 300 meetings, including regular council meetings, special council meetings for the budget, municipal land use board meetings, and other meetings outside the borough. And this is my very last one sitting in this seat at the center of this dais. Many events have occurred between that first council meeting in November of 2006 and today. While preparing to write this, I found an old piece of campaign literature that was used during my very first campaign in 2006. And these were the bullet points that, and remember, Bruce, you helped me put it together. These were the bullet points that were on that piece of campaign literature. Improving shared services with surrounding communities. Establishing a more comprehensive and tougher policy concerning absentee landlords and overcrowded apartments. Strengthening the property code maintenance ordinance. Posting the minutes of borough council meetings on the website. And at that point, our website was pathetic. Mailing a printed newsletter to every home twice a year. Improving the town website. Returning the Barcelona Museum to the library. And establishing office hours for the mayor. Every one of these has been accomplished. When I came into office, one of the first phone calls that I received was from a major pharmaceutical corporation here in town. They had a 7-year tax appeal that was ignored by at least 2 and possibly 3 administrations. When they saw that we were willing to sit down with them and negotiate this tax appeal, it was settled with a win-win for both parties, saving tax dollars and a threatened lawsuit. They came in with a notebook, 5 or 6 notebooks. That's it. Also in December of 2006, Premier Homes began talks for an age-restricted housing development at the site of the former Tokyo Goeki site. However, the bottom of the age-restricted market had tanked, and they wanted to come in with new plans for fair market value apartments. The planning board, whom I happen to think is one of the best planning boards in the state, in the county, if not the state, voted to keep the site as an age-restricted development, and the developer sued. With skillful negotiations, we were able to come to an agreement that benefited both Premier Homes and the borough. And now we have a top-notch rateable on Route 202 North, which includes the only apartment building in this area designed specifically for disabled veterans. And that was a long and arduous negotiations between Premier Homes and the borough. We began the Nicholas Esposito Volunteer of the Year Award and recognized all our volunteers at an annual volunteer dinner reception. Volunteers save the borough thousands of dollars each year in salary. And Brian's back there, and I have nothing but very, very high praise for the fire department. You do an outstanding job.
Thank you.
We established the Cultural and Historic Committee to preserve, protect our historic artifacts and colorful history. And it's amazing how many people have emptied their their attics and their basements and boxes and have given material to cultural and heritage. And they're in the process of writing a second walking tour of Raritan, which I think is just incredible. We froze municipal salaries for 2 years, thus keeping the tax rate low. When we learned of possible improprieties with the police department, we alerted the Somerset County Prosecutor's Office and cooperated with them in a complete overhaul of our PD, resulting in the dismissal of 1 lieutenant and the chief and reprimands to 1 officer. And I dare say that probably was the most difficult thing I think that Mrs. Garrett and I had to do in our term here. We recodified our municipal code book, getting rid of archaic and unenforceable ordinances, and placed the municipal code book of our borough on the website, now being facilitated by a professional company and not the responsibility of a council person. Quarterly department head meetings were held to learn what was going on and what was needed to continue their progress. Lunch with the mayor was begun at Borough Hall on the first Saturday of the month. This gave constituents the opportunity to sit and chat informally about concerns they had. And when we first instituted the no parking during the snowstorms, I had a ton of people in here with me on Saturday morning. They brought their lunches and it was nice. It was fun. We had a nice dialogue. A gang awareness task force was formed consisting of educators, police, and the prosecutor's office. The task force hosted a meeting for parents facilitated by Sergeant Joe Walsh from the Somerset County Prosecutor's Office about possible gang activity in town. And it was so popular that we actually had to turn people away from the first meeting and hold a second meeting for the overflow crowd. And in that second meeting, we had mostly grandparents that were here, and this room was filled. Graduate students from the Blaustein School of Public Planning and Policy at Rutgers University did a waterfront study that resulted in us receiving the Sustainable Raritan Award and was the impetus for the redevelopment that is currently ongoing. A groundbreaking council meeting was held at Duke Farms on the riverfront development. It was attended by many individuals interested in the river and our waterfront. In 2013, we were ranked by New Jersey Monthly Magazine as 98 out of the 100 best towns in New Jersey. 2 years later, we rose to 37th best town in which to live. We outranked Bridgewater, Hillsborough, and Somerville was not even mentioned. I must comment on the Gannett suit. Since I have been demonized as the cause of that suit by certain people, but nothing could be further from the truth. The Gannett-owned Courier News filed suit in 2009 after Raritan sought to charge a fee of $1,000 to provide the borough public payroll records in an electronic spreadsheet-type format. The borough never denied the newspaper access to the information, but wanted to charge a fee to provide the documents in the specific formats requested by the newspaper. Gannett refused to pay the costs, refused mediation to solve the difficulty, and eventually sued the borough. On a personal note, as mayor, I've served on the New Jersey League of Municipalities Executive Board as a Somerset County representative for the past 4 years, as well as the General Legislative Subcommittee. And I recommend that anyone who has the opportunity to do that does it. It's very interesting. I was the 2009 Distinguished Honoree of the Somerset County Commission on the Status of Women. In 2011, I received the Millicent Fenwick Award for the Distinguished Public Service from Somerset County Federation of Republican Women. And probably the one that I'm most proud of was in 2013. I received the Peter J. Biondi Award from the Resource Center of Somerset for my work with the prevention of domestic violence. Now, on a personal note to the mayor-elect and council-elect people. Some insights I've gained over the past 9 years. Gee, it seems as if you and I have had discussions like this many times, many years back, too. You have no friends. Everyone, regardless of the relationship to you, is treated equally. You were the lesser of two evils in the election process. Put your personal agendas aside and work for the good of the community, because if you cannot do that, you won't be sitting here very long. The people of Raritan are very astute and they can spot a phony a long way off. Do what you know to be the right thing, This is not what someone tells you to do, because they will be the first ones to desert you when things get rough. Do your homework. Come to the meetings prepared. Respect the sanctity of the executive session. Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and the same thing is true for executive sessions. And never forget that you work for the people and not the other way around. I would like to thank the administrative staff for their service and commitment to the borough. Many times Dan and I locked horns, but we always agreed to disagree. And Maggie, you're the third clerk I've worked for. We've had here. I also wish to thank Councilwoman Garrett and Councilman Lobel. And to my husband, Victor, whom I would not have met if it had not been for my being the mayor. I love you, and I appreciate your unswerving support these past 4 years. It takes a mighty special man to be married to a mayor and tolerate all the meetings and missed dinners. And I can't tell you how many times we have been out socially and someone will say, "Oh, I want you to meet the mayor." And they immediately go up to him and say, "Hello, Mr. Mayor, how are you?" And he has to say, no, it's my wife. And finally, in the words of the Supreme Court Justice Louis Brandeis, the most important political office is that of the private citizen. And it will be my pleasure to resume that role of the private citizen and to be able to sit on the other side of the fence in the future meetings. Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you. I couldn't even read. What? Greg threw me, I couldn't even read. And he does that with his eyes. Oh my God. All right, we've come to old business. Any old business that we need to fill out?
I got one thing.
I know it.
And I thought we were gonna have this done before I left, but that street light on Somerset
It's
Street
still there.
is still. I'm gonna come to every meeting.
Like a thorn. But I do want to thank Maggie for taking care of the photograph of the present council. It's back there hanging on the wall. She did a nice job of that.
The location. I'm not here often.
Somerset and Anderson Street in the corner,
It was not-
opposite
It was
Tropiano.
not there a while
If
ago.
Sheridan Balmio will know that.
Any new business?
I have a quick question regarding the incident on Friday. First Avenue was closed. Because it's a county road. Should the county send out a nixle? Should we send out a nixle? I mean, the road was closed for 7 hours. No business in your backyard. It was 2 blocks from me.
Chief, you want to
We
respond to
just didn't
that?
have anybody available to come in and sit down at a computer and send one out. And we were running guys back and forth, and we had to bring in extra people just to handle the problem.
No, and I get that. Listen, I had somebody walking down my street saying basically they're looking for somebody with a dog and lock your door and turn your light on. Nobody knew what was going on, so that's the reason I asked.
Yeah, we just didn't have the people that commit somebody to come inside and send out a message.
We come to the second portion of public comment. Anyone wishing to be heard? Mr. Tazi.
Tom Tazi, 38 Glacier Avenue. I just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, and 2 quick notes. Don't forget, we left $4,200 in that calendar fund from 2 years ago, so let's not make that disappear. And the third thing is, on a good note, is the Basilone Memorial Foundation has signed the second biggest John Basilone event next to the parade. We are having on 9/11 at Patriot Stadium, we are sponsoring a John Basilone baseball game with bobblehead dolls and the whole 9 yards. So it's going to be a gigantic event to keep the John Basilone spirit alive. We will keep everybody aware of it on our websites to keep all the council aware of it. Have a Merry Christmas and good luck to everybody. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to be heard?
Yes.
Anthony DeSico, 10 Anderson Street, Raritan. I want to thank you for your service here, but I just want to make a couple of comments. I'll start with you, Stephanie. I think possibly next year you might have been sitting at the mayor's seat, but 2 things stopped you: compassion and knowledge. What I say about compassion is the way you attacked Denise. You could have simply have said, "I disagree with you, and when you're having financial problems, I'll have to accept it. But when things turn better, I hope you do forego your benefits." Secondly, and that wasn't professional at all. Secondly, you acted like a child when they changed attorneys. I sat there, we changed 7 different attorneys. Never saw anyone act as despicable as you. Someone who claims you did so much for the town. You stood here, act like a child, screaming, making all kind of noises, changing the attorney, the best, the best, the best. You couldn't accept it. And all you've done, you lost it all. You lost it all by the 2 words. One is, I don't know if you ever took civics. In civics, the majority rules. When they want to change the law, you could have accepted it. Instead, you went on for a while. That's enough, that's all for you. Craig, same thing. You just couldn't wait to turn on the lease for what happened. And then when they changed the lawyer, you also, I quit the party, I did this. You acted like a child. The guy that served in the military, you should be ashamed of yourself. You talk about all the work you did.
I'm not gonna get into a
You're not
bickering
getting-
match with you, but I have morals, and there was
No, you
promises.
don't have any
yesterday,
morals.
And there was
Not when you-
promises
when-
and promises not kept. And I could not be a part of a party that supported promises not kept.
Was the attorney promised to be kept? Do you know
We had
the
a
law, you know the
disagreement there,
law
that
of
was
majority
all.
rules? You know the law of majority rules? You have
And
it
they
now.
did rule.
No, you had it, when you put the cameras back in, you had the majority, and then they accepted your decision. But you could not accept changing the attorney. You couldn't accept it. I don't understand why. You said you got morals, you got credentials, you couldn't accept it. You stood there, another one. You ran, you yelled, I can't, I quit the party, I don't want to be involved. I mean, that was despicable. You embarrassed not only yourself, the whole town. It was in the newspapers about how you acted, you and her. And I don't know if it was conspired by the mayor to keep that attorney that got you in all the trouble. But yes, Mayor, you're sitting there looking, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. I think the last 2 years were the worst 2 years of Raritan's history. In the history of the borough of Raritan, because the way the newspaper got all the bad print, how you embarrassed the town about what Denise, about the attorney, about the lawsuit, about, then another thing you did, you had this propensity of putting people down. How's that? I didn't come to too many meetings. You turned on one of your constituents here for not attending the meeting, and you went on and on and on. That's not the way a mayor acts. That's not a mayor is supposed to have respect. You sit here nice, and you talk nice in front of the kids, and you made a nice speech. But you had that same way of putting people down. I don't know, yeah, you can smile. That's the smile of a snake.
Careful.
Don't tell me to be careful.
All right, stop. Stop.
I'll say what I want when I'm up here. When
Stop.
time runs out, then I'll stop. Don't tell me, stop.
Excuse me.
What?
Is the 5 minutes up yet?
Minute, no.
Go ahead.
And what I'm saying is that what you've done to the town, don't think that you're respected. I heard people say, and the one thing that I found, which I thought was really hard, what you did to John Pacifico's sister, Rose's sister, sending the police over to her house, 6:30 in the morning, to give a subpoena with a woman who had a bad heart. And there are people that to this day, and I heard Sunday, that blame you for her death. And you had the nerve to go to the library when they dedicated it. That takes a set of real nerve. I don't want to use the word, but the 3 years, glad to see you go.
All right,
Really
I
glad to see you go.
have a question. I have a question. A while back, when former mayors were permitted to do marriages, you appeared before the council
Yes.
and you asked permission to use this room.
Yes,
And you told us that all of the money that you were going to collect as
no,
fees or
when I said I will
donations,
make a
whatever.
contribution,
Yes, you would make a contribution
not all the money.
to the rescue squad. You
No,
told us you
no.
would make a contribution to the rescue
I
squad.
said a contribution to charitable organization.
No,
You
no,
said
no.
the rescue
You
squad.
told us the rescue squad.
I'll make one to the rescue squad. It's a my
What I
choice.
want to know is, how much of that money have you given to the rescue squad?
I have given nothing to the rescue. I gave
That's
it,
right. You have-
I gave it to the cancer fund. I sponsored the,
But
things.
in the
I didn't do that
excuse
many
me,
months.
excuse me.
Are you questioning me?
Your time for
Well, then I'm
public comment
finished.
is up.
Then I'm finished.
Good, thank you. Because you haven't given one single penny to the rescue squad.
The rescue squad I give out of my business. I don't give it, the charity is my decision.
You were on
If
the
you,
record,
if
you're
you
on the
want to do the
record,
weddings, you
Excuse
do.
me. You were on the record saying you were gonna make a donation to the
To
rescue
the
squad
charitable
on behalf
organization.
of the
No,
council.
rescue squad.
No.
Well, first of all, you don't have any right.
All right,
No.
we are done, your time is up.
You don't have any right to tell me.
Sit down.
you don't give it.
Your time is up.
Sit here and
And
question
listen,
our instead.
that's another thing.
Time is up.
Right,
Sit down.
that's another thing you have to learn.
Excuse
TB,
me.
this is
Sit
your
down.
last meeting.
Sit
You
down.
don't tell people to sit down. You say
Your
thank you.
time is up.
But you say thank you, your
I
time
will
is up.
have you removed. if
I'll
I
have you
to.
removed for what? Freedom of speech?
Your time is up. Sit
Thank
down.
you. Not sit down. Listen, I'm not a third grade student.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Sit down.
See, that's that snake word, the smile. Sit down.
It's actually quite disrespectful, you know?
She don't care, but she has no respect.
Mayor, please, sit down.
Sit down. You think you're talking to a dog?
I
Sit down.
said please.
You say,
Is
you're
there
down, but
anyone
the
else that
protocol
wishes
is,
to be heard in this
thank you.
comment?
sit down.
I'll say something.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Bruce Storley, 807 Boundbrook Avenue. I want to thank you guys for your service in the last 6-7 years. Did wonderful things for the parade. Cooperate with the Wall Heroes all went good. You were tireless service, and if you did 1 or 2 bad things wrong, you did 99% good. And I think we should, on the end, emphasize the good. That's it.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Bruce. Anyone else wishing to be heard? All right, seeing no one, I will close the second portion of public comment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We are adjourned.